This is a steal for the Bills. With the addition of new players and rookies getting stronger, everyone's talking about the competition heating up in Buffalo's secondary. Two longtime starters are gone, and someone unexpected could be stepping into a major role. He's young, athletic, and already has a breakout season under his belt. That player is Derek Forrest, who has spent 4 years with the Washington Commanders. My name is Maeve Miller, and I'm a part of the Bills Digest team, so please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Bills Digest. First, I want to talk about Forrest's NFL career so far. So, like I said, he was on the Washington Commanders. He was drafted in the fifth round in 2021, and he had kind of like a rocky couple seasons. Some were stronger than others, but his best season by far was in 2022. You can see in 2021, he just played in 8 games, only 7 tackles. But 2022 is that breakout season that people have been talking about, where he played in 17 games with 88 total tackles, which is extremely impressive. And he was just a very versatile player. He could play not just like deep safety, but lined up in the slot and rotated into the box a little bit. So, but like there was a question of like why these stats dropped, and that was because there was a coaching like staff changes, and his like role just kind of shrunk with them. There was different like preferences from the coaches, and he just didn't get as much playing time, which is clearly reflected in his stats. You can see in 2023 he was only playing in 5 games, and then had a little more in 2024. So all in all, his last 2 seasons were not great, but I think seeing what he did in 2022 just shows how much potential he has. And I just think he's a very athletic player. That's something that really stuck out compared to other players. And I think bringing in another safety, because that is a problem area for the Bills right now. They don't really have strong players. There are options right now. We have Taylor Rapp, Damar Hamlin, and Cole Bishop. And, Hamlin has ups and downs. Rapp has been like probably the best player out of those three. Cole Bishop is just a second-year player. So there's a lot going on, and I think that's all in all why the Bills need him. And that will go on to my next topic. And I think, like I just said, overall, it's all about more depth at the safety. You want to have that more insurance, even if he doesn't start. If someone were to get hurt, like Hamlin, who is in that second safety spot, most likely, then they're kind of screwed. So I think having an extra guy will just be very helpful. Cole Bishop isn't getting a lot better, but like I said, he doesn't have as much experience. And out of all of them, besides Rapp, maybe, I would say that Forrest has the most experience. He has 4 seasons under his belt, and he had that one really good breakout season. So he just brings a lot of experience and speed. And right now, he's probably going to be competing for that second spot with Hamlin and Bishop. And I think the competition is a great thing because that'll just make them work better. Even Cole Bishop was talking about this, just that like they all get along so well off the field, and that helps them a lot on the field. So that's why I'm just hoping the safeties can get a little stronger, because the secondary is definitely a spot of weakness for the Bills. So I think building up and bringing in guys or drafting guys is always a good idea. And another thing is that McDermott's defense, like his style, he wants safeties that can do just more than just like drop deep. Players like Hyde and Poyer in the past, they could do everything. They cover, tackle, blitz, like they just rotated different responsibilities. I think that's something that Forrest has shown that he can do, and that's something that McDermott will definitely like. So yeah, these are two of the guys that he'll be competing against. And I think hopefully by the end of the OTAs and the training camp, there'll be 2 strong safeties that will, be able to play well together. People think it might be Rapp and Bishop, but they also said that Bishop is very similar to Rapp, so they might want a player like Hamlin or Forrest that's a little bit different. And McDermott's also said that the depth chart is very loose this time of year, so it's anyone's game. It doesn't matter if you were drafted early, if you were traded to the Bills, it's anyone's game. And yeah, like I said, Forrest showed his versatility in Washington, that he can play both the free and the strong safety. He can match up against tight ends and wide receivers. And he's just a very athletic guy, which all in all is always a good thing to have on the team, especially in that defensive back position. And even if he doesn't start, it's still just a good insurance for the Bills that they have another player in the wheelhouse that can come out and just be very athletic and have that high IQ. But there was something that came up about Forrest. There was different analysts that were kind of talking about how he's a little underrated, which is always nice, and that he's getting some publicity. And this was CBS sports writer Chris Trapasso. He said he just turned 26 years old and has the range and ball skills to outproduce his relatively cheap 1-year deal. The Bills are no longer boasting all pros at the safety spot, and don't be surprised if Forrest earns legitimate playing time. And I definitely agree with that, because right now the Bills, they don't have that star safety like Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer. So they're just looking for guys that can be reliable out there and not be as flashy. But another quote that I found on Twitter was talking about saying that he's somebody that I'm quite confident that he can like make a real impact in summer camp. He has range, versatility, and ball production. So I think a lot of people have just been talking about this, and this was the other quote from Trapasso, he said Forrest is a Big Ten athlete with a 9.67 relative athletic score who flashed early in his career and watched him with 4 interceptions, 9 pass breakups, and a whopping 88 tackles when thrust into a starting role in his second season. A coaching change after that year didn't help Forrest's job security, and he started just 6 games afterwards. So I think all in all, people are just noticing that he is a very underrated player, and that, yeah, he's not going to be a big star, not like he's not going to go to the Pro Bowl, but he's someone that the Bills can rely on and trust. So I just hope with the OTAs and training camp that hopefully the secondary will just be able to gel together and Forrest can learn the Bills defense system, because I feel like McDermott has a more unique perspective on it. He likes, like I said, safeties that can play everywhere. So I think this would be a very interesting time. And, the offense is already very strong. So I think getting that defense a little bit better from last season could be that little thing we need to maybe make it to the Super Bowl or farther into the playoffs. So, like I said about Cole Bishop, I'm excited about this news that we have 2 safeties that are, getting better and are getting some good publicity. And all in all, I think Forrest could end up being a real impact player for the Bills. So I'm excited to see what the safeties do and how that competition kind of works out. Thank you for watching. And once again, please subscribe to the Bills Digest YouTube channel and go Bills.